We're talking about being the power of the word all month, as you know, and Karen started us off last week by talking about how the first 3 steps of our spiritual mind treatment go together, and also to really give us a good analogy of how we can work with that. And began hammering home what it is that we're doing in the center of this deep spiritual technology. For those of you who are watching online, you might want to check out the last 2 talks. If you haven't seen it yourselves, you might want to go ahead and check those out because they build on each other. So today we're going to dive in a little bit more on what are we doing in our spiritual mind treatment. We sort of built the spiritual legs for it when we think about the recognition and the unification steps of our process. So the first 2 steps of treatment give our spiritual mind treatment, spiritual legs, so that we're not simply affirming things out of the blue. We don't just say, the sky is purple because we wish it were. We actually are using deep and profound spiritual truths and spiritual principles which we are aligning ourselves with. And so the first couple steps of treatment give us that place. And then the third step of treatment, we begin to allow the creative word to come forward. And it is the place, in our spiritual mind treatment, the first 2 steps of treatment are to give us the place from which we speak, not for what we want.
Yes.
Huge difference. Which is why the first couple of steps of spiritual mind treatment are these deep stages of mystical consciousness, deep stages of awareness. And it shifts us into our spiritual identity so that we speak from that spiritual truth when we are declaring and affirming and claiming that which we want to have manifest in our lives. And so we're going to pick up there. And then what I really want to do in this talk today is to really help us make it real. Because without making it real, it's just nice words, isn't it? How many of us have done spiritual mind treatment going, I have no idea if I'm doing this right? Yeah, right? Or I've done spiritual mind treatment and go, wow, that didn't sound anything like my practitioner's treatment. Or, well, I just don't like using this form. I don't want somebody to tell me how to pray or what words to use. I'm just going to do it myself. Right? But our spiritual technology has, over many, many, many years, been unfolded because it is designed to shift consciousness and to make real to us that truth which we believe, or at least which we say that we believe. We need to move it from saying that we believe it to having it be real for us, right? Because we use a lot of shorthand in the science of mind. We use a lot of shorthand that says, change your thinking, change your life. Actually, that's shorthand for change your belief, change your life. And we say your thoughts create reality. Well, that's shorthand for what you believe to be true creates your reality. And so our spiritual mind treatment is a technology that's designed to get under just our thinking, our affirming brain into that subconscious theta brain waves where our deeply held beliefs and truths are lodged, and to literally rewrite those into alignment with what we believe to be true, or what we say we believe to be true. We want to actually embody that we believe to be true, because it is in the embodiment of it that the universe says, oh, I got it, I got it, and then its job is to make it happen. So we're going to work on making it real today, yes. So I love to eat out. And so I have a lovely menu here. Do you know how many restaurants Addison has? Do you know? 179 restaurants. Okay? Really, if you can't find a place to eat out, I don't know what to say about that. So 179 restaurants, 179 menus, and probably 25 different kinds of cuisines. So kind of feels like unlimited choices, doesn't it? I mean, granted, there's a number, right? But it's pretty unlimited. Why is it that I only go to the same 6 restaurants? And why is it when I go to those same 6 restaurants, I always get the same thing? So I don't go to restaurants, actually, I go to dishes. Okay. Are you going to the same place in the universe every single time? Do you go to the same 5 places? The life is hard. I'm not good enough. I don't know how this is going to work out. Oh my God, this is terrible. Isn't it awful? Right? It's like going to the same 5 restaurants over and over and over and over again. Now, we intellectually know there are 179 restaurants. And we actually also know that there are, 7 American restaurants and 20 million Mexican restaurants and, how many Thai restaurants there are. But have we tried them all? No. We still go to the same one. So I have chosen this lovely diner that I like to go to. A waiter. A waiter. So, yes, I like to come here, but by God, I'm going to try something new. What's your favorite thing to eat here?
I love a hamburger.
Well, that's great, but, I don't eat buns. So what does everybody eat here?
Hamburger without bun.
Well, yeah. Don't you have any Chinese food?
Chow mein. Chicken. Want that?
So let's see. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna have chow mein with the hamburger.
Special.
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. No, wait. Do I like hamburger?
You love it. You feel it.
Boy, everybody else gets hamburger, right? Everybody else gets hamburger, and you think
Chow mein
love
is
it?
normal.
Well, you know what? I don't always know what I want. Yeah. So I like to, I like to make sure I'm like getting what everybody gets. Do you really think everybody gets hamburger with chow mein?
No.
Okay. I'll have the chow mein with the chicken.
Okay, perfect.
No, wait.
Cool.
Wait.
Yes.
I'm just not sure. Where's the sign that says chow mein with chicken is good?
We took it down because it's racist.
I need a sign that I'm eating the right thing. How do I know?
Just gotta feel it.
God, you're one of those people. I want to know that I'm getting the right thing. I want to know that it's nutritious and helpful and good for me, that it's going to taste delicious, and that it's not too weird.
Saying chow mein's weird?
I don't know. Could be. Okay.
All right.
Chow mein with hamburger.
All right.
That's what I want.
That's it. All right.
That's what I
I
want.
got you, boo boo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fabulous. familiar to you? So when we do our spiritual mind treatment, when we do our affirmative work, you actually have to know what you want. How many of us go into the restaurant and actually ask the waiter what the waiter likes? As if that is going to somehow illuminate what we ourselves are like. So we check our files. You know, is my mom going to like this? Is my partner going to think this is a good idea? Whatever it is. And how many of us don't actually know what we want? So when we do a spiritual mind treatment, we actually have to know what we want and where we're going. Now, it can be something very specific, right? I can actually ask for chow mein with hamburger. Or I can ask for the dish as it's presented. And I can be as specific or as open and generic. I can actually go into a restaurant, especially one where where the chef is a little more creative, and I can actually say, I think I want something kind of Chinese. What's your specialty? Will you just make it for me? I get to do that. I can also say, I want the mushu pork, but I can't use the pancakes because I'm gluten-free. So don't bring me the pancakes, and can you please put the plum sauce on the side? Do you see? There's not a right or wrong here. If I want mushu pork, I can ask for that. I can ask for exactly the way I want. If I want somebody to surprise me, I probably have at least picked the genre of restaurant, of food I want to eat, right? And then I can say, well, let's see what's the special. I'll just have the special. Let's just see what happens. And everything in between. And how often do we either over-specify the form of the thing we're wanting to experience in our life because we're looking for a deeper relationship, a quality of life experience we want to have, we want to express the divine more, and we start trying to give it form and definition when we should be saying, let's just see. On the other hand, how often are we unwilling to be specific? No, actually want a healthy relationship, not just any relationship. I actually want a healthy relationship. Or no, I actually want a job where I can give my gift, where I like who I'm working with, I'm doing this kind of work, and I'm financially supported. Do you see? I can be as specific or as general as I want to be. What's the most important thing? This is not
knowing what you want.
Knowing what you want. Once you know what you want, what's the next most important thing? You have to place your order. Waiter, let's pretend. This is take two. Take two. Waiter.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't know what I want.
Oh. Want to come back or?
Yeah, come back.
Okay, I'll come back.
No. Yeah.
Great, I'm here. Hi.
There's nothing on the menu I like.
Cool.
You see that we've been playing this game for a long time, right? He cannot do anything for me unless I actually place the order.
Yes.
Right? We can do this dance all day. And what happens if now I say, I don't think I want that chow mein with hamburger. I would like fried egg sandwich.
Great, we can do that.
Okay, now he's going to walk away, right? He's going to walk away and he's going to start putting that, no, wait.
Great, cool, hi.
I don't want a fried egg sandwich. I think I would like a steak.
A steak.
Yes.
Medium well, rare?
No, very rare. Just wave it over the flame.
Yes, you might have had a girl. Rare, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steak.
Good?
Yeah,
Steak?
good.
Any
Steak.
sides?
No, steak's good.
Just steak, got it. Big old piece of meat, got you. Good, okay, great, hi, cool.
Wait, I'm not sure that I want a steak.
Wonderful.
Do you see how long we can do this too? Now, what is happening to my order? Nothing is happening to my order. Or if, bless his heart, I've actually let him get into the kitchen and place the order, and then I call him back, what does he have to do? He has to cancel the order and put the new order in. And how many times do we do that? How many times do we cancel the order? With our doubt, with our fear, with our, I don't know that that's really what I want, I don't know that's what I like, oh my God, what if it's not the right thing? Thank you, waiter.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you. So, okay, so this is often why we do our spiritual mind treatment and then nothing happens. Because we are placing confusing orders. Or placing the order and then we're immediately placing a new order. So in our spiritual mind treatment, we place the order for a loving relationship, and then we go home and we spend the next 3 hours thinking about the jerk that we were in a relationship with before, and being afraid that we're going to attract the same thing. Now, have we not just placed another order? The one order we placed consciously, the other order we placed unconsciously. So our spiritual mind treatment is designed to help us place that order in a very concrete and specific way, but it's built on all the spiritual work we've done before, and it now allows us to place that order in a way that feels complete to us. Right, so I can work with the waiter as long as, so is there gluten in the mashed potatoes, and have it without the sauce, and could you? I mean, we can actually do all of that until my order really feels like, yeah, that's the meal I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for that meal. And then what happens when we place the order? Oh, waiter. Okay. Here it is. Are you ready? I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to have a steak, medium rare. I want it nicely charred on the outside and on the inside. Yeah, okay. Mashed potatoes, those garlic mashed potatoes you have, which are really cool, but I don't want the chives.
Got it.
Okay. And I think I'd like to have those roasted asparagus. That would be really good.
Good choice.
Okay. And yeah, we'll talk about dessert when it's over.
Fabulous.
Okay.
All right, I'll be back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, man, thank you. That's awesome. Isn't this a fabulous restaurant? Come sit down. I'm so glad you decided to have steak with me. Steak? Yes. I'm having steak. Are you going to have you order? Are you going to order something? Okay, but we'll order in a minute. Yeah, and it'll be good. And we're having a good time sitting here talking, right? And what's happening to my order while we're talking? It's being cooked. My order's being cooked. Sharon and I are having a lovely conversation. We're looking at all the lovely people. We have all kinds of things going on, right? And what's happening? What's happening in the meantime? Sharon, what's happening to our order?
Your order is being prepared.
That's right. Well, let's quickly pretend that you've ordered. Okay? That you've ordered. All right. So what's happening while our orders are being prepared? We're enjoying ourselves, aren't we? Having a conversation. What are we not doing?
We're not worrying about it. We're not thinking about it.
We're not worried about it. So what does that mean? We're sitting here expecting. We actually expect the order to arrive, don't we? Exactly the way that we ordered it. And we're not thinking about it at all, are we?
You just released it.
Yes. We just, and then what did I say to the waiter? What did we say to the waiter after he took our order?
Thank you.
We said, thank you. Didn't we? Because thank you is that response. It's so automatic that we can let the order go. Thank you. Thank you for being my partner here. Thank you for being my partner here at the table. Right? So there you go. So we set the order, we give the order, and we say thank you. It is an automatic response, isn't it? Okay, so I need my kitchen, I need my chef. Could I have my chef over here, please? The chef over here is who's going to be preparing my steak. Now, Sharon is not actually sitting with me because she knows what I do at restaurants. Do you think they're making my steak right? Do you think they actually know how to make medium, well, not well? Some, they make that shoe leather a lot, right? Oh, they overcook the steak. I better go check. So, how's it going in here? How's my steak? Are you doing it properly?
Are you a customer? Yeah, I'm cooking your steak right here.
And is this a good cut of meat? Did you check the meat cut?
It's ribeye. What are you talking about?
Do you know the cow it came from?
Girl, did you?
Okay, you see,
Yeah.
okay.
A little. 20 years, girl. How long you been doing this? Come in here.
I want my steak properly cooked, and I want it done the way that I know how to do it. I actually know how to do it.
Oh, well, hey. Have at it, girl. Okay, all right, I got
You're
it.
the chef, you cook it. But
I'm going to.
now I want to talk about your sous chef.
Okay.
Are they using all organic greens?
Always.
Does he cut the carrots properly?
Julianne, of course.
No, it has to be sliced.
Slice, right. We'll do that for you. Great, great. Uh-huh. It will be.
Are you cooking my steak?
Yeah, I'm working. Yeah, whoa. Yes, I'm
I'm
working.
gonna watch to make sure.
Oh dear. Look at this technique.
I don't know whether I can trust you.
You can. I'm very good at this.
How long have you been doing it?
Like 20 years.
Where were you trained?
Le cordon bleu.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sitting down now.
You better sit down.
I'm watching.
No, let's see that.
Thank you, chef.
Thank you.
You're the bomb. You're the chef. Does this look familiar to you? Not in the restaurant. In your spiritual work. When you say thank you to the waiter and they go away, unless something truly has happened, your order is going to come. And 99% of the time, because we are not talking about a universal law, we're using a physical analogy, 99% of the time, it will be what you ordered. But because we're talking about a universal law, not a human experience, the universal law works like any other law. Have you ever gotten out of bed and had gravity not work? You didn't have to turn it on. You didn't have to ask how long it had been working. You didn't have to figure out, do you actually understand how gravity works? I don't. I have no idea. I actually don't even really know how my computer works. That is the truth. Right? But there are laws that somebody has figured out, and I turn it on, and it works for the most part. Until I want to throw it out the window. But again, physical things, right? We can use these physical things as analogies, but they will always break down because they're in the realm of the finite. We push it too far, and we can always find exceptions. But the idea here is that in the spiritual mind treatment, we're using universal absolute truths. In universal absolute truths, there are no exceptions. There's no exceptions. There's no human interference. The law doesn't get a headache one morning and decide not to show up to work. right? There's none of that. It is a universal spiritual principle that when we place the order has been received. So I want to read to you from our beautiful book, Stephanie Sorensen. She says this about when that order is being received, and we know that it's being taken care of. She talks about the step of gratitude. This simple step of joyous thanksgiving and deep appreciation is vital to our treatment because it affirms our conscious acceptance of the reality of our spoken word. I've ordered my steak. Is that steak a reality even though it's not yet on my table?
Yes.
Absolutely. Right? Thanksgiving affirms our conscious acceptance of the reality of the spoken word. We are blissfully one with the very image we have spoken into law. We see it, feel it, and understand its presence as a tangible thing within us. Sometimes you place your order, you're already salivating, right? Because you know how good it's going to taste. It's a tangible thing within us. So we do our spiritual mind treatment. We do the work in the creation of the order, in the building of the, Thomas Troward calls it a spiritual prototype. We often use the analogy of the seed. That order is like the seed. And when we really feel the efficacy and the reality and the vibrancy of that seed, it is as if we are giving our order over to the universe. We use the analogy of planting it in the soil. And the law goes about and does its business, and it is as good as already grown into what it's going to be. Now, when I order in a restaurant, can they bring it to me immediately? Only if it's fast food and it's been sitting under the lights. Do you get to make anything specific about it? No, you got to take that one. How good is it? Right? There is this fabulous thing called the law of growth. The law of a growth. And so if we take this idea of the seed in our spiritual mind treatment and we're really working that seed till it becomes real to us, tangible to us in our consciousness, like really real to us in our consciousness, that seed actually becomes its own spiritual energetic. And it's attracting to it and it's working in the law, in the universal law, exactly the way a seed works in the soil. And it grows. But it doesn't just go from seed to corn plant in 30 seconds, does it? I actually hope they're lingering over my steak, right? That they're preparing it well. I hope that they're taking time. How many of us like to go to scratch kitchens? Because they're making everything from scratch. How much better the food is. Might take a little longer. You can go to places, menus that say this, you order this, it's going to take 15 minutes. But it's worth the wait. That's part of the trust. When we say thank you, we've made it real to us. We've made it so real that the seed actually goes and has a life of its own. And our job is to let it have that life. And sometimes I think we have been confused by the teachings of Jesus, who had instantaneous healings, right? And we add on to that our instantaneous gratification society. And we do not have the patience to let something grow, right? And we think if we don't have it instantly, that either we didn't do it right, the law doesn't work, or the universe doesn't want us to have it. But if you plant a tree, you're planting it for your children, aren't you? Why even bother planting a tree? You might not get to experience it, right? But you know that that's the whole point. So many of our treatments are instantaneous treatments. Yes, you need a healing. You need to manifest some money right now. You need, you're bleeding and you got to put a Band-Aid on it. Absolutely. We can manifest things instantaneously. But we want to build a consciousness. We want to build a consciousness of health and a consciousness of wealth and a consciousness of experiencing oneness and a consciousness of having our lives unfold in the manner that we have ordered. Do you see, that takes time for that consciousness to grow? Or we decide we want to learn something new, build a business, become an artist, and we think, well, if we're not successful within the first 6 months or a year or 2 or 3, that we're a failure. Things take time to grow. And our job is to be in that same blissful state. Sharon and I sitting up here having conversation, right? We're enjoying the restaurant, we're looking around, and really absolutely trusting and knowing that whatever's happening in the kitchen is exactly the perfect and right thing. And when that order is perfectly done, it will come to our table. Thomas Troward calls that cheerful expectancy. The cheerful expectancy of the outer demonstration of that which we have embodied ourselves in our consciousness, in that moment that we said thank you. So we place our order, we say thank you, and then we let it go. We let it go because we are trusting that presence, that power, that infinite law to do what its job is. Just as when we place the order, I'm hoping we don't actually follow the waiter into the kitchen, right? And the better the restaurant, the more likely we are to go, oh, I can't wait to see what the chef does. And sometimes we're pleasantly surprised. It's beautifully presented. It has lovely little things, drawn on it. And we didn't know it was going to look like that. Right? We didn't know it was going to be presented like that, but it is actually our order. Do you see? And the ability to be in that place of cheerful expectation allows the process of life to unfold. So Stephanie Sorensen, oops, I have my book upside down, says this about the final step of treatment, which is, of course, release. If we want to experience a new influx of spirit, we must let go of the lesser for the greater, the old for the new, the false for the true, and the relative for the absolute. Otherwise, today looks like yesterday and promises to repeat itself tomorrow. So it's not just the order itself that we have to release. We also have to release anything that stands in the way of it. Our need to figure it out, our need to know exactly what's happening, our need to know exactly how it's going to pan out, exactly what we need to do. Could I have my game plan now, please? Even though I know this thing is going to take 5 years, I'd like to have my whole game plan now. If I don't have my game plan, I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. Right? All those ways in which we feel the need to control and manage the process. And all of the things that stand in the way of that, our false belief, it'll never happen, I'll never get healthy, I'll never get wealthy, I'll never get the job I want, I'll never get the person I want, whatever blah, blah, blah stuff it is. Because that's placing the exact counter order in every time. We're placing the exact counter order. And our waiter is literally going in, canceling the order, and now putting a I'm not enough order in for us. So we have to release to that greater reality, which circles us all the way back around to the beginning of our spiritual mind treatment. Where did our spiritual mind treatment start? Knowing the greater reality, right? Knowing the infinite power and presence of the universe and the truth of it, and remembering that we are it too. And then when we drive our car and we place our order, do you see we're in the flow? We're speaking from that place of knowing that, of course, this absolute reality is out picturing in this way in my life. And I am now, I've spoken the word, I've planted the seed, and I'm now allowing the process to unfold. Now there's lots and lots and lots of more things we can talk about. So we have I'm doing the workshop, Manifestation and Mysticism, this afternoon, because the first part of our spiritual mind treatment is the mystical experience of oneness, and the second part of our spiritual mind treatment is the directive practice of manifestation. And the two of them together are unstoppable. It's the most powerful spiritual technology that we know, that we have. So I invite you to come to that as well. So I'm going to close with this fabulous reading here from our beautiful book, Sacred Continuum. I just invite you to close your eyes and just listen to what she has to say. Rather than our prayers, our spiritual mind treatment, being mere spiritual oasis where we retreat from the bad and the ugly of daily living and seek to change it, spiritual mind treatment can serve as a permanent template for our moment-to-moment perception. Our moment-to-moment perception of what is in the face of what may appear to be. The act of perceiving what is by no means passive. It is an active, intentional opening within ourselves that enables us to recognize spirit as the only presence in every moment. From this higher, broader perception, we are more capable of giving the creative power of spirit more meaningful, directive expression through our thoughts, words, and actions. The activity of perceiving what is an exercise in spiritual awareness that allows us to recognize the presence of peace in the midst of violence, war, and chaos, the presence of love in the midst of abuse and abandonment, the presence of joy in the midst of sorrow and pain, the presence of wholeness in the midst of disease or illness, and the presence of abundance in the midst of limitation and poverty. The truth is revealed to the mind set upon the infinite spirit. And so it is.